H-E-W. If you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll see more of my videos. My YouTube channel is at Mr.KeithE.Chu. TikTok and Instagram, follow me at Mr. Keith E. Chu. I name my algebra program Bear Algebra. Why? Because Bear is my buddy, aren't you? Yeah, he is. Well, right here's Bear. And Bear is my 12-year-old peekapoo. Let's get into this because it's a little bit harder now. All right. So I call this lesson 2.03B. It's just a way that I organize it. We're going to solve two-step equations. And Bear says, don't get choked up over it. It's not that hard. SBS, step by step. That's what that means. And we're going to justify each step with the reasons. And that's kind of like what you would do in a geometry class whenever you're writing an algebraic proof. So let's look at example 1. 4 plus 2x equals 8. So I have to say in my mind, I have to undo the addition or subtraction first if there's no like terms and no parentheses, no distributive property. There's none of those things. So we undo subtraction or addition first. So how do you undo plus 4? You do the opposite or inverse, which is minus 4. Line it right up underneath it. Minus 4 right underneath the 8. 4 minus 4 is 0. And 0 plus 2x is 2x. 8 minus 4 is 4. Now I said write the reasons down. This is my original equation. This has a property name. What did we do to both sides? We subtracted 4. So this is called the subtraction property of equality. That's what it's called. All right. So now here's where it's different than what we did before. I have 2x equals 4. I want to just have x equals something. So I'm going to do the inverse of multiplying x by 2. So the inverse or opposite of multiplying an x by 2 is to divide it by 2. So I take my 2x, and another way of writing divide by 2 is to just make it a fraction with a 2 in the denominator. That fraction bar means divide. So when I came down and have my 2x equals 4 here, I simplified that. And now I'm dividing both sides by 2. That's the second inverse. My first inverse, subtraction property of equality. My second inverse, division property of equality. I always would tell my students, this needs to have a common factor. 2 over 2 is 1. And I get my x equals 2. Now, when I was doing these one-step equations, I was doing this. I'm going to continue. We graph this, and we're graphing x's. We're looking at 2's, and it's just a dot right there on the 2. So for my reasons over here, on my x equals 2, that was a simplify step, and this was a graph step. After we graph it, we're going to check it. And when you check it, you're going to rewrite the original and then substitute and see if it's true. So I substitute the value that I graphed here and that I said it was equal to. Put a question mark above the equal sign. And this is called the substitution property of equality. Now, I'm going to do the order of operations. You multiply before you add. 2 times 2 is 4. It's the order of operations. And now, since 4 plus 4 is 8, and that equals 8, and I know that's correct, I simplified it, and it is true. How many steps did I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 steps to solve that. This problem, similar. I want to get rid of the addition or subtraction since there's no combining like terms. The opposite of minus 7 is plus 7. 3 plus 7 is 10 equals 5y minus 0, which is 5y. So I say, okay, so what are my steps over here? Well, I have my equation here. I have my addition property of equality. And then I have simplify here. All right? So now what? Well, what did we do here? I have to cancel out the 5. And since that means 5 times y equals 10, I do the opposite of multiplying by 5, which is dividing by 5. And if I do it to the right, I have to do it to the left. Well, what did I do here? I divided. It's called the division property of equality. Now, I would always tell those students, since 5 over 5 is 1, I can cancel out that common factor, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. Okay? Now, what did we do next? We graphed it. So I'm graphing y's, and the 2, right there it is. So I would say here, I simplified, and then I graphed. Okay, so now I'm going to substitute, write the original down, and then see if it works. So 3 equals 5y minus 7. I'm going to solve it and see if it works, and then we'll write down all the reasons. Wherever there's a y, I put a 2. You're going to multiply before you subtract. 5 times 2 is 10 minus 7. So 3 equals 3, and that's true. So I put my little check mark there. So I know it's true. Here's my rewritten original equation. Then here I have the substitution property of equality. Substitution property of equality. On this line, I do the order of ops. And then I do the last order of ops when I simplify it. All right, how many steps? Original, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 steps. All right, so I'm going to write in 2 problems. You can always stop this and then rewind it and go back and look if you need to write something down, because I always try to finish my videos in 10 minutes or less. So we know I'm just going to explain something in 10 minutes and then we're going to move on to the next topic. So I'm going to write down a couple of problems for you to try, and there will be a video link. So this is my student practice problems. I've got A, it's 16 plus 4m equals 4, and B, 9 equals 5y minus 16. I am Mr. Chu. Subscribe, follow, and there will be a link up here at the very top with the solutions and a playlist down here. I'll see you next time.